You are listening to the Anchor Radio Network and a presentation of the Caleb Turner Talk Show. And now your host, Caleb Turner.
Hello again, and welcome everybody to our downtown Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada studios in downtown Coquitlam from Hornby Street. We got a great show planned for you today, December 29th, 2012. We're going to talk about some holiday food consumption and the amount of food that people consume over the holiday Christmas season. It's pretty crazy. We're going to talk about the NFL and the upcoming playoffs. We're going to talk with Philip Hunter of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette on his Steelers' unfortunate season. The Chicken McNugget and the making of it, the NBA, Lakers' slow start, Kobe's hot start, the Clippers, maybe, NCAA basketball, Michigan basketball. We're going to talk about that. First, we got to get our commercial break. This is the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network.
Boxing Day sales going on at your local Moore store. Suits, shirts, and ties all on sale, including our socks and t-shirts. Come into your local Moore store. Clothing for men. Well made, well priced, well dressed.
Seahawks and Rams live tomorrow afternoon here on the Anchor Radio Network. Can the Seahawks win their division, or will they stumble into the playoffs? Seahawks and Rams live from CenturyLink Field on the Anchor Radio Network.
This is the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. And now your host, Caleb Turner.
We're back live on the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. I am your host, Caleb Turner. We're going to get right into the show today, talking about holiday food consumption. You know, I like Christmas for several reasons. Number one, I love to eat. I like good food. I like turkey. I like mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. And I've had mashed potatoes too much, as people will tell me when I go to fast food restaurants or sit down like Old Country Buffet. I get mashed potatoes, then I get French fries to put on my mashed potatoes with gravy. It's like super potato dinner. I love it. It's unbelievable. But for some people, the calorie intake over the Christmas season can get pretty crazy. Now, the average 16-year-old male, and I'm saying 16-year-old male because I myself am 16, who weighs 140 pounds and at 5 foot 11 inches, should consume 2,322 calories per day. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good amount of calories, especially when I read you what the average calorie intake is on Christmas Day. The average calorie intake on Christmas Day, according to BodyChef.com, I do not know the verification of this website, I just got the stat, is 8,000 calories. 8,000! That's 3.5 days for an average 16-year-old male, all on one day. From December to New Year's Day, a woman, I don't know what age, will gain between 5 to 10 pounds. 5 to 10 pounds from Christmas to New Year's Day. 2,000 calories per day is the government's recommended intake normally. The UK Department of Health recommends 1,940 calories for women and 2,550 calories for men. According to Daily Record, one portion of stuffing is 231 calories with 15 grams of fat. Now, for some people, I don't think they only consume one portion. One portion of Christmas cake is 249 calories with only 8 grams of fat. And Christmas cake is definitely not just one portion. One portion of turkey is 149 calories with 4 grams of fat, and we all know everybody has way more than one portion, and usually 2 and 3 portions of turkey on Christmas Day. And here's the kicker. Here's the one that I'm not involved in, and most people that I know aren't involved in. But 8,500 calories worth of drinks. 8,500 calories worth of drinks can be consumed by up to 10 family members in one family. That's 850 calories worth of drinks for one person. 850 calories. That's crazy. That's nuts. It's pretty crazy, but for me, 2,623.5 calories per day is what my average is. 2,623. And I am 65.9 kilograms. About 145 pounds. But on Christmas Day, the average person consumes 8,000 calories. Wrap your head around that one, folks. 8,000 calories. I don't know about you, but I eat heartily on Christmas Day. And it goes the same for Thanksgiving. You consume the same stuff, if not more, on Thanksgiving. Now, the thing that really affects the average of the 8,000 calories per day is the drinks. And me and the people that I know do not consume the drinks that most people in the world consume. You know, your holiday Christmas cheer drinks. We don't consume those. But 850 calories is what one person will consume worth of drinks, with about 8,500 average for a family gathering of about 10 people. And that's about what Christmas Day is. Thanksgiving, you got about 10 people, 10, 15 people. It varies. But you know how much money people spend on the drinks alone just for Christmas and even Thanksgiving? It's nuts. It's nuts. But hey, come on, it only happens one time a year. You might as well live it up. Well, we won't get into the living it up, because I'm not much of a live it up person. Just Coke. Coke is fine for me. Coke and Pepsi. That's what I like. There's nothing like Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, however you guys say it. There's nothing like that on a Christmas Day or Thanksgiving. Period. I'm all for, having fun, but I can have fun with my Pepsi and my Coca-Cola. I can have fun with that. It's called caffeine. You get fun with caffeine. It's pretty crazy, though, the portions that people will consume in the holiday seasons. Christmas, Thanksgiving, it's nuts. 5 to 10 pounds for a female. From December 1 to January 1, they will gain 5 to 10 pounds in 1 month. And I bet it's the same for November 1 to December 1 because of Thanksgiving. But the reason why most people gain so many pounds during the Christmas season is because it's a lot of sitting down and sitting around with nothing to do because, well, hey, I got my Christmas vacation, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying my time off on the couch watching college football bowl games, because it happens every year. There's college football bowl games going on during the Christmas season. And usually there's hockey going on, but this year, unfortunately, there is no hockey. You got basketball going on, and college basketball, and the NFL, the final weeks of the regular season. So it's cool. I'm okay with gaining 5 to 10 pounds in the Christmas season, as long as you're going to burn it off and, change it into muscle fat starting January. Everything changes after January 1. January 2nd, everybody gets back to your normal grind. That's just the way it is. But it's pretty crazy. 8,000 calories one person will consume on Christmas Day. That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts. When we come back, we're going to talk about The Pittsburgh Steelers and their, baffling year. They got a lot of old guys on their team. But that's no excuse for what they've done this year. They've just completely fallen apart with 3 straight losses down the stretch. At 7-8, they will not make the playoffs. And that's something that fans coming out of Pittsburgh and fans coming around the world, Steeler Nation, are upset about. We will talk with Philip Hunter of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and PittsburghPostGazette.com. We will talk with him about the Steelers' troubles, and we're also going to talk with him about the rest of the NFL, especially my Seahawks, who we hate the Steelers. The Seahawks hate the Steelers with a passion after they won the Super Bowl. Actually, you know what? We hate the referees from that game in the Super Bowl. But we'll get to the Seahawks' unbelievable season. It's been pretty epic. Russell Wilson, a rookie, has just dominated. Especially in the last 4 games. He's just dominated. And the teams that they've beat, 2 of their last 4 games, they were playoff contenders. Chicago and San Francisco. But the teams that Seattle have beat this year, we will get into that. It is amazing the teams that they have beat, even if the replacement officials won 1 game for Seattle. It doesn't matter. They beat Green Bay. We'll get into the Seahawks NFL next. Later on in the show, we've got the making of the Chicken McNugget. Whoa. That is going to be an interesting topic. It is pretty freaky and honestly gross. But you know what? The Chicken McNugget still tastes unbelievable. We're going to talk about the NBA. The Lakers' slow start. They're 15-15, which is pretty scary. But Kobe has been lights out, averaging 30.1 points per game to start the season through 30 games. He is 36 years old. And he's still doing that. We're going to get into the NCAA basketball and Michigan's incredible start. Undefeated and ranked 2nd in the nation. Can it hold up? That's the big question. All that and more when we come back on the Caleb Turner Talk Show and the Anchor Radio Network.
The all-new 2013 Nissan Sentra is starting at $18,000. You can come in and lease one for $330 per month, plus your RRSP and anything else the Nissan dealership would like to pin on you. Taxes, insurance, etc., etc. But come on in and buy one. The all-new 2013 Nissan Sentra.
Hi there. My name is Matt Williams, president of Anchor Security. You ever wonder what it would be like if you did not have security? Or what it would be like if there was no security in this world? Well, I will tell you. It would be mayhem. And I am here on this radio station to let you know that you can rent Anchor Security for $13 per month plus tax. $13 per month plus tax. It will change your life. That's Anchor Security.
This is the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. And now your host, Caleb Turner.
We're back live on the Caleb Turner Talk Show, live from Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. The first topic of today was the holiday food consumption. Getting in emails from ladies especially, talking about the average consumption of calories on Christmas Day, which is 8,000. The ladies are writing in saying, we do not consume 8,000 calories a day, and we do not gain 5 to 10 pounds from December 1 to January 1. That is just an average stat, ladies. There was no offense intended. There was no in-your-face kind of thing where we're just going to get right up close to you and say, you gain 5 to 10 pounds on between December 1st and January 1st. No, that's not what it was. We were just delivering average stats. But moving right along into our next topic, which is maybe a little more likable topic that I think people like more of, the NFL. And right now I am joined by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette analyst, Philip Hunter. Philip, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really good, really good. Live from Pittsburgh, actually. Nice to meet you, Caleb. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a nice rainy day here in Coquitlam, which isn't very nice, but we'll take it. At least it's not hailing and thunder. How's the weather over there in Pittsburgh?
Oh, pretty chilly, pretty chilly. We like it windy down here in Pittsburgh. All these buildings rushing to and from the office. I tell you what, it gets pretty nose chilling, but that's why my grandma got me a new coat for Christmas. What more could I ask for?
Wow, man, that works out perfectly. Say, I mean, it's pretty windy. The Pittsburgh Steelers season is pretty windy. The shaky start, but
Yeah, tell me about it. Most of our Pro Bowlers actually are getting injured. Our team is getting very old this year. Injuries are going to be our main problem for the rest of the season.
yes, as Ben Roethlisberger has been struggling injuries throughout the year and other starters are out. Tell me, what's it been like following the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, seeing basically what I would call a collapse, because they actually had a pretty good run going on midway through the season there in the first 8 games, starting out 6-2 and only being 1-6 in their last 5 games. What has that been like to watch game in and game out?
It's really hurt. It's really hurt on the inside because at the beginning of the season, it was really starting me up. It was getting me ready for football again, and then all of a sudden, we got some crucial injuries, and it just started to fall apart. People started getting injured. Positions started to get squished, especially our offensive line. Marquise Pouncey got moved off center, and after that, Ben got back after a few weeks of injury. Charlie Batch filled in. We actually beat the Ravens with Batch. I was surprised. I was looking forward to that game with Ben in, and unfortunately he couldn't play. But Batch was in there, and we still won. So I was pretty shocked. But I have faith in the Steelers. But yeah, as soon as Ben got back, I don't know what happened. It's like he couldn't play anymore. He just wasn't himself.
Now he had a a shoulder injury?
I think it was the shoulder. Yeah, shoulder injury. Yeah, it was the shoulder.
Now maybe was that his throwing arm, or was that just his non-throwing arm?
Yeah, that was. I think it was a throwing arm. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yep.
Okay.
But
yep. That Baltimore game.
He's supposed to be a leader.
Yep. December 2nd, they're in Baltimore, winning that game 23-20 with, what was it, Charlie Batch?
Charlie Batch, yes.
Charlie Batch. Yeah, and they still won the game. Was that a game-winning field goal?
Yes, it was. At the last, if I remember correctly, I think it was in the last minute.
Okay.
Last second, actually.
Okay. I think I remember seeing the highlights to that game, and that was a pretty crazy finish for the Steelers.
It was intense. One of those ones you want to DVR, save it, watch it over.
Yeah. Another thing with the Steelers. Jericho Cotchery, Antonio Brown, Plaxico Burress, even Mike Wallace, key wide receivers that have gotten injured just offensively, as you see. 11th in the NFL in passing yards with 244.4 yards per game, and only 26th in rushing yards at 96.4 yards per game. Just what has it meant to have key wide receivers out of the lineup? So Roethlisberger's throwing to rookies. Maybe that has been his downfall.
Well, Caleb, let's back up a little bit to our stats. Our running, we're only 27th in the league, you say, and our passing is 11th?
Yes.
That's sad. Back in the 90s, early 2000, 2001, 2002, Jerome Bettis was on our team, star running back. Very good. Almost made it into the Pro Bowl. The Hall of Fame this year. He always made it to the Pro Bowl. But yeah, he almost made it to the Hall of Fame this year. We used to be known for our running, actually. Even when Ben was a rookie, he basically, it was most every play was a run. And with Jerome Bettis in there, we'd get 5-6 yards a carry. But now we're more of a passing-oriented team. The thing with our wide receivers is most of them are rookies or greenhorns. We just got rid of Hines Ward this year. That was sad. I really liked Hines. He was around for like 13 years, I believe, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good wide receiver. He knew how to run his routes, taught everybody. But now all of our starting wide receivers are pretty much green, if you know what I mean. They're rookies. And, that could be part of his issue. Mike Wallace skipped out training camp this year. I was really disappointed, and then he won all that money. I'm surprised we still signed him, but now he's on the he's not on the practice squad. He's like fourth string, but he's not even starting anymore. Last year, he got injured last game too, but he's not even in the starting anymore. But yeah, Kotry, Antonio Brown's got to be our best offensive weapon this year, I think.
The Pittsburgh
Special
Steelers
teams as well.
The Pittsburgh Steelers defense seems like it hasn't missed a beat, even without Polamalu. They are still ranked first in passing yards, only giving up 185.4 a game, and second in rushing yards, only giving 87.5 up. And I remember seeing a figure that Brett Kiesel, he was out of the lineup for a couple of weeks, and with him out of the lineup, they still were able to get only giving up 87.5 yards a game rushing. Just how is this defense, back in the day known as the Iron Curtain, the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, how have they been able to maintain consistent defense, even though watching their offense has not been very consistent? Have they been be able to remain consistent?
Now I take this back, Caleb. I take this back to our defensive coach, Dick LeBeau. He's got to be the best defensive coach in the league. He's been around. He's ancient, but he knows defense. That's one thing. He knows how to bring players together. He knows how to teach them how to play their position. Zone. We run I think we run a zone 3, cover 3 zone is what he's famous for. And even without Troy Polamalu, he hasn't been playing that much this year. He's been injured, I think calf injury and something like that. Even with Harrison out for a little bit, we still did pretty good. So Brett Kiesel, Harrison, Polamalu, those are some big names. Ike Taylor, another one. Ryan Clark, some other guys. We got a lot of good defensive players. Quarterback, safeties. We got it. We got some good guys in every position. We just need to learn how to bring them together and not let them get injured.
I'm looking at the injury list in the past 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I don't know. Marshall McFadden, James Harrison, Ike Taylor, Troy Polamalu, what else do we got here? Lamar Woodley, Curtis Brown, even a starter. Curtis Brown. Injuries within the past 5 to 6 weeks. It seems like that the wheels have fallen off in the last 5 to 6 weeks, losing to San Diego, Dallas, and Cincinnati. Now, not necessarily the Dallas and the Cincinnati game was necessarily a big loss, but the fact that they lost to San Diego, I think that speaks volumes at what they were going through within the past 4 to 5 weeks with these injuries.
Yeah, that Cincinnati loss was really important because they're in our division too, and we really needed to win that game. But we can still bring it back. We play the Browns upcoming here, our next game. I think we can win it. They're looking pretty snazzy. They're upturning, not as much as the Bengals are though. They are looking really good.
The Cleveland Browns at 5-10, Pittsburgh at 7-8, Cincinnati at 9-6, Baltimore at 10-5. Looking at those bottom 3 teams, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, all of them.
What do I say?
Yeah, all of them 2-3 records within the division. Baltimore at 4-1.
Right.
It's pretty amazing thinking about it that those 3 teams actually still had a chance to win the division, and even Cincinnati themselves still had a chance to win the division.
Cincinnati, yes. The Baltimore Ravens, I think, are going to win our division, sadly to say. My neighbor would be happy, though. I think they're going to win the division.
With a 4-1, 4-1 record, that's a clinic. If you can have a 4-1 record against your divisional opponents, you should be able to win the division. And I think Baltimore is going to do that in this last week. Have they not already clinched, or do they clinch this week?
They could clinch this week.
Okay.
They could.
Yeah. So they haven't clinched yet.
With a regular record. This is their last chance to clinch. Well, it's not their last chance to clinch the division. They can this week, I think.
Yeah. This is the last week.
Especially if we lose, which I hope we don't. But we play
Cleveland.
No, the Browns, who are also in that division. But
Yeah, 5-10.
if we lose to them, then goodbye.
That's pretty sad. Now, Pittsburgh is already mathematically out of the playoffs. They cannot make the playoffs, but they can finish with a 500 record, which would still be a good thing considering the age of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Finishing 8-8, I think that is an acceptable thing, although I still think that at the beginning of the year, a lot of people thought the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to make the playoffs and even possibly give Baltimore a run in that division.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, Caleb. Oh, well.
Let's switch gears now to a rival team. Well, not necessarily a rival team. I don't think they're rivals. I think it's just something that a lot of Seahawks fans out here in the Northwest continue to remember.
They were rivals.
Yes, continue to remember Super Bowl 40 quite well. The Seattle Seahawks season has been, well, quite interesting, from replacement officials to a rookie starter that's really, I think, surprised a lot of people. And to start the preseason out 4-0. 4-0 in the preseason. The Seahawks went 4-0. A lot of people were jumping on the Seahawks bandwagon in the preseason, and then in that first week losing 20-16 at Arizona, a lot of people just dropped. But now, looking at their record, 10-5 with an opportunity to win the division here in the last week. Just maybe in the games that, I don't know if you've seen much of the Seahawks games, maybe you've seen highlights, but just overall, the Seahawks obviously are favored to come out of that NFC.
Oh, yeah. NFC, Seahawks. I have high hopes for the Seahawks, you know, Super Bowl 40 and everything. But, no offense. They could rise. You know, that 10-5 record, I think, as you said, right?
10-5, yes.
Yeah, they could rise up. They could win. They could win their division. Now, I'm also thinking, you know, over there in the NFC, who else they got over there making them run for their money?
They have the Atlanta Falcons are also
Right.
first-round buys. And potentially right now Green Bay would get a first-round bye. But the playoff scenario right now for the Seahawks is if they beat the Rams on Sunday, which they should beat the Rams tomorrow, and San Francisco loses at home to Arizona, which is possible because they are going to be without Mario Manningham and Vernon Davis and a key defender. If Green Bay loses to Minnesota, I know there's a lot of ifs, but if Green Bay loses to Minnesota, which is also likely because Minnesota is fighting for that last playoff spot there in the wild card, Seattle could potentially get second place and get a first-round bye in the NFC, and it all goes back to Week 3 in the 14-12 win with the replacement officials.
Yeah, those replacement officials sure were something, weren't they?
They were nice to us on the. I still can see it in my head. I can see the whole thing. One replacement official puts his arms up for the touchdown. The other one says end of the play. I still can see it like it was yesterday. The Seahawks have honestly dominated the NFC, and with 47 touchdowns in the season and only giving up 24, and they're plus 12 in the turnover ratio, that's some pretty good defense that they've had.
Yeah. Now, I know this is a little in advance, and it's kind of a long shot. Do you have any predictions for the Super Bowl yet? Who's going to be in it? You know? Have any idea?
Who do I want to be in it, or who do I think's going to be in it is the question.
Who do you think's going to be in it? I know who you want to be in it.
Well, who do I want to be in it? I would like to see Seattle and Denver. I'd really, really like to see Peyton Manning, the veteran, playing the rookie in Russell Wilson. But who do I think is going to be in it? I still think Denver is going to be in it. And in that NFC,
oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I still think Denver looks really good. But coming out of the NFC, I'm not exactly sure yet. I still have quite a bit to watch. I don't know. It's a toss-up. Seattle, you'd think Seattle.
It's a ways out, too.
Yeah, I mean, you still got the wild card games, which I'm sure can be very, very entertaining. But I don't know. I mean, one thing's for sure, the Steelers aren't going to be in the playoffs.
Ooh, that's a burn.
Yeah.
But hey, it's not like I'm going to be rooting for anybody. It's just I'm going to be rooting against some teams. I do not want the Patriots. I do not want the Cowboys, and I do not want the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Cowboys may not make the playoffs.
I don't want them.
The Cowboys may not make the playoffs.
Did they?
They still have to win their Sunday night finale against Washington.
I don't even want them to go to the playoffs if they don't have to.
Well, Washington's going to have to beat them. And I'm sure that's going to be an entertaining game. Division is on the line. Philip Hunter, thanks for joining us today from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
We shall. Thanks for having me, Caleb.
You have a good afternoon.
You have a good afternoon, too.
Thank you, sir. Philip Hunter of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette joining us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Nice guy. Really, really nice guy. When we come back, we will move into our next topic, the making of the Chicken McNugget. Wow. You do not want to miss this. It is pretty freaky, some of the ingredients on that get made and get put into the batter of the Chicken McNugget. This is the Caleb Turner Talk Show. You got it live on the Anchor Radio Network. When we come back, the making of the Chicken McNugget.
Need a BlackBerry? Need an iPhone? Need an Android? Need a normal flip phone? Come into your local Rogers store in your local mall. We've got you covered. We've got everything. Cell phones, tablets, Androids. We've got it all. Come into your local Rogers store and we'll get you hooked up right. This is the Anchor Radio Network and the Caleb Turner Talk Show. And now your host, Caleb Turner.
Hello again and welcome everybody to our downtown Coquitlam, British Columbia studios. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast so far. Some interesting things that we've been talking about, calorie intakes over the holidays, the NFL season so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seattle Seahawks. There with our expert analysis from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Philip Hunter himself. What a great man there. He has been an avid Pittsburgh Steelers fan forever. You hear about him in the news, you hear about him on ESPN, you hear about him on TSN, like here in Canada. It's just something we always hear about him. Epic. Epic man. And an epic Pittsburgh Steelers fan. We're back live. And we've got several new topics to talk about. We might as well go ahead and start with, yes, the Chicken McNugget. The holy Chicken McNugget. Some very concerning facts about the Chicken McNugget that I don't know if anybody knew. Maybe somebody knew, maybe somebody knows about these crazy things that people eat. Maybe they've heard about the crazy facts of life kind of thing. I'm going to read you a little article that I found on Wikipedia. Do not believe everything you read on Wikipedia. Wikipedia is basically a network where, yes, they do have Wikipedia professional analysts and experts. They do have that. But you can write in your own articles. Some random Joe Blow off the street kind of guy from downtown Vancouver could go on Wikipedia.com, sign up for an account, and write anything he wanted on a topic. The Chicken McNugget. As of October 9th, 2010, the ingredients of the Chicken McNugget nugget follows these ingredients. Chicken, water, salt, sodium phosphates. Battered and breaded with bleached wheat flour, water, wheat flour, modified food starch, salt, spices, wheat gluten, or gluten, however you pronounce it. I don't really care how you pronounce it. I pronounce it glutton. Because you're gluttonous if you eat glutton, obviously. But a lot of people pronounce it gluten, and I'm sure people will call in and text in and email in saying, it's gluten. Paprika, dextrose, which is sugar, yeast, garlic powder, rosemary, partially hydrogenated soybean oil, and cottonseed oil with mono and diglycerides. leavenine, which is sodium acid pyrophosphate, baking soda, ammonium bicarbonate, monocalcium phosphate. You've got the natural flavor, which is a plant source, with extractives of paprika, fried in vegetable oil, canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, with TBHQ and citric acid. Now this next word, it's going to be interesting how this comes out. Dimethylpolysiloxane is added as an anti-foaming agent. McDonald's ingredients can vary outside of the United States. Obviously, they're not going to use the same stuff over in, let's say, the Philippines. The 2004 documentary Super Size Me states that, quote, originally created from old chickens that can no longer lay eggs, McNuggets are now made from chickens with unusually large breasts. They're stripped from the bone and ground up into a sort of, quote, chicken mash, which is then combined with all sorts of stabilizers and preservatives, pressed into familiar shapes, breaded, deep-fried, freeze-dried, and then shipped to a McDonald's near you, quote, end quote. Super Size Me also alleged inclusion of chemicals such as Tartaria butyrhydroquinone, a phenolic antioxidant used as chemical preservative. And these are some interesting words. Polydimethylsiloxane, an anti-foaming agent. Wow, that's a big word. And other ingredients not used by a typical home cook. This was recently restated by CNN. Marion Nestle, a New York University professor and author of, quote, What to Eat, says the tertiary butyrhydroquinone and dimethylpolysiloxane and McNuggets probably pose no health risks. As a general rule, though, she advocates not eating any food with an ingredient you can't pronounce. Thank you! I like this! As of October 9, 2010, dimethylpolysiloxane and tert-butylhydroquinone, TBHQ, I like the TBHQ better, are listed as ingredients in the McNuggets cooking process. According to Lisa McComb, a media relations representative for McDonald's, dimethylpolysiloxane is used as a matter of safety to keep the frying oil from foaming. The chemical is a form of silicon, also used in cosmetics and silly putty. Dramatic long pause. A review of animal studies by the World Health Organization found no adverse health effects associated with dimethylpolysiloxane. Man, I've almost got that. TBHQ, I like this, is a common preservative for vegetable oils, cereals, nuts, cookies, chips, and animal fats. Found in other foods like Girl Scout cookies, which I like, and Quaker Chewy granola bars, which I also like. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration sets an upper limit of 0.02%, 0.0002, of the oil or fat content in foods, which, like other foods, applies to the oil used in McNuggets. Effective use of TBHQ is 1 gram per 5,000 grams of cooking oil, which is 1 gram per 11 pounds of cooking oil. End article. That's a little bit creepy. That is very, very creepy. The chemical, which is dimethylpolysiloxane, I almost got it. The chemical is a form of silicon, also used in cosmetics and silly putty. So when you eat chicken McNuggets, you are actually eating stuff that you put on your face to make yourself look better. Or stuff that little kids play with. That's stuff that you can bounce on the floor and, stretch out to like a mile. That's what you're eating when you eat chicken McNuggets. And I remember one time I went into McDonald's. Once. Yeah, no. Not just once. But I've been into McDonald's many, many times. But this one time that I went into McDonald's, there was a guy in there who ordered 100 chicken McNuggets. And he was going to go and eat all of them. 100 chicken McNuggets. 100 forms of cosmetics and silly putty. Somebody has issues. Now, I usually don't eat chicken McNuggets. I am not a chicken McNuggets freak. I am not a chicken McNuggets nugget. Or as they say in France, nougat. I don't like chicken McNuggets. I honestly don't. And now that I've read this article, about this dimethylpolysiloxane and terbutalyl. If I cannot pronounce it, I am not eating it. I will not be eating chicken McNuggets ever again. Period. Mark it down. Caleb Turner on the Caleb Turner Talk Show said he will not eat chicken McNuggets again. I will not be eating chicken McNuggets again. Period. End of sentence. Now, this TBHQ is found in Girl Scout cookies and Quaker Chewy granola bars. I'm not going to stop eating that. Granola bars are supposedly, quote, healthy for you. I love granola bars. I don't usually get Girl Scout cookies much because Girl Scout cookies seem to cost like an arm and a leg just for one little box of Girl Scout cookies. Something else that we could probably do on the show is, what's the difference between Girl Scout cookies and Boy Scout cookies? That'd be an interesting topic. So there you have it. The Chicken McNugget. And I apologize if I mispronounced any of the words in this article. I am not a word pronunciation person, as I can't even pronounce pronunciation right. This dimethylpolysiloxane and this butylhydroquinone, I do not know how to pronounce TBHQ. Tert-butylhydroquinone. None. Tert-butylhydroquinone. Dimethylpolysiloxane. I can pronounce that pretty good now. I'm probably mispronouncing that anyways. When we come back, we are going to get into, by the way, that is a special topic. The Chicken McNuggets was a special topic chosen by a Ebony McNeil in Tacoma, Washington. So, hello, Ebony. Thank you for the topic idea. I honestly was not going to be talking about Chicken McNuggets today. We were just going to jump right into the Lakers season. That is another topic that she also sort of suggested, as she is an avid Lakers fan there in Tacoma, Washington. So thank you for the topic, Miss Ebony. I hope you pronounced your name right. I was asking how to pronounce your name, and I'm not a very good pronunciator, as you saw in the last topic. When we come back, we're going to get into the Lakers' shaky start to their 2012-2013 campaign, but we're also going to talk about Kobe Bryant's hot start to his 2012-2013 campaign. The Lakers and more when we come back. This is the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network.
You can download the all-new Anchor Radio Network app, the Anchor Radio Network radio app, directly to your Apple product, like your iPhone, your iPod, your iPad, your iPad 2, iPad 3, or an Android device. That is the Anchor Radio Network all-new radio app. You can download it for 99 cents on the App Store. You are listening to the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. And now your host, Caleb Turner.
We're back live on the Caleb Turner Talk Show. Your host, Caleb Turner, talking to you right now. The next topic, the Los Angeles Lakers season, and there are so many things that we could talk about. I cannot even begin to tell you what this season has been like for the Los Angeles Lakers. We start out with the first 3 games of the season. The LA Lakers started out high hopes, obviously bringing in Dwight Howard, superstar, blockbuster deal, getting Dwight Howard here in LA, and to sign Steve Nash. Steve Nash, obviously being from here, British Columbia, Canada, obviously everybody up here was cheering for the Los Angeles Lakers. And a lot of them were not cheering for the Toronto Raptors, our nation's only basketball team. Which, by the way, the Toronto Raptors stink. We can all make that very, very clear. The Toronto Raptors stink. Moving right along, Los Angeles Lakers start their first 3 games 0-3. The first game of the year, Dallas, 99-91 losers. Then they went to Portland and lost 116-106. Dwight Howard had 33 points, and I remember that game, everybody was like, okay, Dwight Howard is definitely good. But in those first games, all of those missed free throws that Dwight Howard had seemed to go unnoticed, despite the fact he was actually getting all those points. Kobe Bryant there in that third game, which they lost to the LA Clippers, who are honestly stacked this year. At 24-6 and on a 16-game win streak, the Los Angeles Clippers are definitely the team to beat in the NBA, not just the Western Conference, the NBA. And I'm telling you one thing right now, the LA Clippers will be in the playoffs this year, winning that Pacific Division. Period. End of sentence. We can almost end the topic right now. But you know what? We got to finish talking about the Lakers. Kobe Bryant, 40 points against the Clippers in the 105-95 loss earlier in the year there in that third game of this season. In the last 7 games, the Lakers are 6-1. Beating teams like Washington in Washington, not really saying much. Beating teams like Philly in Philly, obviously minus Andre Iguodala. Remember, Andre Iguodala went to Denver. Beating teams like Charlotte in Charlotte by only 1 point. That was embarrassing for the LA Lakers. To only beat Charlotte by 1 point. That was embarrassing. But they got the W. That's all that counts. Beating teams like Golden State in overtime. Golden State, by the way, was in the playoffs. And they still are. But the fact of the matter is, beating the New York Knicks on Christmas Day, in all of the games this year, that, I think, in my eyes, was the biggest win for the LA Lakers. Kobe Bryant's 30-plus point game streak ended, obviously, last night against Portland in a 104-87 win. Kobe with only 27. He's hit the 40-point mark 4 times this year. 4 times. In 2 games ago in Denver, in which they lost 126-114, he had 40 points, 5 3-pointers. Folks, he is 36 years old, and he is doing that? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I'm sorry, but the Lakers are not going to make the playoffs even with Kobe Bryant scoring 40 points in a game 4 times this year. They just aren't going to make the playoffs. They won't. They need something else. You know who they're really missing? They are missing Lamar Odom. They are missing Shannon Brown. Excuse me, not Shannon Brown. Matt Barnes is who they're missing. Where did I get Shannon Brown from? Bob, will you look up Shannon Brown? Why did I say Shannon Brown? I must be thinking, I don't know who I'm thinking. I might be thinking Mike Brown and Shannon, I don't know who Shannon is, but anyways. Matt Barnes and Lamar Odom are who the LA Lakers are missing. But for all intents and purposes, the Los Angeles Lakers are missing Phil Jackson. Kobe Bryant, he's missing Phil Jackson. Although he likes this offense that Mike D'Antoni is running, because Kobe gets to shoot whenever he wants to shoot. And I remember watching the game against the Knicks on Christmas Day just a couple of days ago, in fact, 4 days ago, back on Tuesday. And I remember looking in a timeout huddle, and Mike D'Antoni looked at all of his players and said, "Get the ball to Kobe. Get the ball to Kobe." And he said it like 3 times. Kobe is averaging 30.1 points per game right now. That's unbelievable. Through 30 games to average over 30 points a game. That's better than LeBron. That's better than Durant. That's better than Westbrook. That's better than Wade. That's better than Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and all the other heroes in the NBA. Kobe Bryant still has it. But where are the Lakers' heads in general? It was good to see Pau Gasol getting a lot of points against the Knicks and actually getting that high pick and roll with Dwight Howard and throwing the ball up to Dwight Howard on the alley-oop from the post. That was nice. But there is no consistency. You switch gears and you go to the LA Clippers. You stay in that same Staples Center building. You still stay in there. And the Clippers, on the other hand, have won 16 straight, and to come back and beat the Utah Jazz, it was unbelievable. The Clippers have it going right now, folks. The Clippers are for real. Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, just to name a few of their guns. And they have the bench. Look at Fareed. Look at Barnes. Look at Odom. That's their bench. That's unbelievable. That's better than Miami's bench that we talked about on the last show. I'm just telling you one thing. The LA Clippers are the way better team in LA right now. The Clippers over the Lakers any day. And I am a LA Lakers fan. It's upsetting to have to say this. That's why my voice is raising. It is upsetting. It is very, very upsetting. The Lakers, as of Christmas Day, were 5th overall in points per game at 102.5 points per game. And were 1st in rebounds per game at 46 rebounds per game. I don't know where they're at now, but that was as of Christmas Day. Through 13 games in the season, they were 9-14. And in their last 7, they're 6-1. So it seems that the Lakers maybe kind of turning the table, maybe kind of turning the corner, getting a little better. I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. Not yet. But some big games in the future for the Lakers. They play the likes of the Clippers. They play the likes of the Miami Heat and the Thunder coming up within the next week. Their next big game, January 11th, a Friday, playing at home against OKC. And then that next following week, on January 17th, they play the Miami Heat. That's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to that. Tell you one thing right now. The Miami Heat still look like the Miami Heat of last year. Now, they may have lost a couple of players here and there. They're still the same team. LeBron is still LeBron. Every game this year, he's had 20-plus points. And everybody's like, oh, LeBron, 20-plus points. Okay, let's clarify something here. Who holds the record for 20-point games? Wilt Chamberlain himself. And it's like, what is it? Like over 100 games? It's like 162 or 165 games he had 20-plus points in a game. So all this junk about LeBron having, okay, the first 30-some games he's had over 20 points. Okay, good for LeBron. Good for LeBron. Good for him. But he's got a long ways to go if he's going to try and break the record, which everybody is talking about. Oh, the record is going to be broken by LeBron. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. And I think the attention right now needs to swing toward Mr. Kobe Bryant, who is 36 years old, and putting up the numbers like he is doing this year. It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Case closed. End of discussion. When we come back, Michigan Wolverines basketball, the last topic of the day. Unbelievable. The Michigan Wolverines still undefeated. Yep. They got it going. Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway Jr., Nick Stauskas, Glenn Robinson III. When we come back, Michigan Wolverines basketball. You got it on the Anchor Radio Network.
$5 footlongs are back at Subway. Come on in and try one. A $5 ham and cheese sandwich. You will like it. The $5 footlong special is on at your local Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
You are listening to the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. And now your host, Caleb Turner.
We're back live on the Caleb Turner Talk Show here on the Anchor Radio Network. The last segment of the day, Michigan Wolverine basketball. Unbelievable start for the Wolverines. Undefeated. And number one, obviously, in the Big Ten Conference standings. The likes of Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway Jr., Nick Stauskas, Glenn Robinson III. Wow. Trey Burke, 79th in the NCAA at 17.4 points per game, but yet they are still undefeated with these players. Nick Stauskas, shooting 55.7% from the three-point line, 28th in the NCAA in that stat, 9th in percentage at 55.7%. Trey Burke, 85 assists. I myself have not seen a full-length Michigan Wolverines game basketball. I hope to see one soon. But I have seen lots of highlights, and obviously I am a Michigan Wolverines fan. I'm a Michigan Wolverines football fan, hockey fan, basketball fan. I just don't really follow it very well. But the Wolverines, at undefeated, first in the Big Ten standings, with the likes of Illinois, Minnesota, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, and Ohio State behind them, ranked second in the NCAA, directly behind Duke. For Michigan to be able to keep it going, well, it's going to take a lot. But to look at their schedule and to see who they play, they don't really play very many juggernauts until later on in the season, when they play the likes of Indiana, Ohio State, Kansas. And they play Ohio State a couple of times. So for Michigan to keep it going, it's going to take a lot. But I've got faith in the Wolverines. Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway Jr., you know what? There's some good players. And look at where Nick Stauskas is from. Look where he's from. Canada. He is a Canadian. And look at the impact he has made on the Michigan Wolverine season. 9th in percentage in the NCAA at 55.7%. 9th. That's pretty good. Now, I know Michigan hasn't necessarily played any highly ranked teams. Yeah, they really haven't played anybody yet. But they've got a hard schedule coming up. And it's going to get to the point where, you know what? They're going to be proving themselves. And they're going to get the opportunity to prove themselves. And it is going to be very, very fun to watch. As a Michigan Wolverines fan, and as, you know, a Michigan sports fan, it's going to be fun to watch. The only team that I don't like in Michigan is the Detroit Red Wings. That's the only team I do not like in Michigan. Other than that, I am a Michigan fan. I'll sort of cheer for the Lions. As long as they aren't playing the Seahawks, I'll cheer for the Lions. But I like Michigan. Michigan's a good sport. Good sporting teams in Michigan. As we wrap up the day here on the Caleb Turner Talk Show, I would like to thank everybody working behind the scenes for this second broadcast of the new edition of the Caleb Turner Talk Show. I'd like to thank Philip Hunter for joining us from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and PittsburghPostGazette.com. They're from windy Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Philip, for joining us on the show. I'd like to thank my co-associate Bob for running all the switchboards, the phone services, the commercials, and everything else that Bob does. One of these days, we're going to have to get Bob on here, and he's going to have to take part in the Caleb Turner Talk Show, but he doesn't like mics, and he's back there now cowering because he doesn't want to be on the show. Mike, do you want to say something? Mike is our producer, and Bob is hiding behind him now. It's been a good day. Raining here in Coquitlam, British Columbia. Hopefully there is a sunny rainbow around the corner. This is the Caleb Turner Talk Show. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the Seattle Seahawks game tomorrow. Pray they clinch the division. That's all we can think about right now. Division and first round bye. That'll do it for us. The Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. I'm your host, Caleb Turner. We'll be back next week, which next week it is going to be January 5th, I believe. We will be back live right here on the Anchor Network. Same channel, same time, same... Well, we already said channel. But anyways, Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
This has been a presentation of the Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network. Tune in every Saturday afternoon. Same time, same place, same bat channel. The Caleb Turner Talk Show on the Anchor Radio Network.